Alright, what's going on, everyone? Hello, welcome to today's gameplay stream. Phil here. Sorry for the slightly late start. Had to run use the restroom last minute, but hey, better to get ready than not be ready, right? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today is Dark Souls 3, and today is the beginning of a 3-day marathon of Dark Souls 3. And I've got some updates for everyone in regards to the schedule, what's going on, why that's happening, my status here in Dark Souls 3, okay? And some other information for you. Alright, so let's get to it, because I don't want to do a super long pre-stream. I want to try to start today on time, okay? So first off, originally this week what I was planning to do was alternate Dark Souls 3 with Ratchet and Clank and or anything else. So it would be like every other day would be a session of Dark Souls 3. And that has worked since last Saturday. That's what I've been doing every other day, Dark Souls 3. And I made some big progress. If you haven't been paying attention, ended up killing one of the lords, right? The lords sitting on the thrones. And I believe I'm actually coming up on another one fairly shortly here. At least that's what I'm being led to believe. So I'm making pretty good progress, all right? And from what I'm to understand, I actually just had a chat with people in the stream chat right before I started pre-stream today. I'm probably between 60 to 75% through the game. Now, the length of the playthrough is going to depend heavily on, number one, how well I do in the final areas, which I've heard are cripplingly difficult in parts. And number two, depending on if I do the optional stuff. Apparently there are a couple optional areas in the game. I'm aware of one of them. One of them I actually came up across in the dungeons. If you remember, there was this one area where there were all these bodies kind of doing this certain gesture. And it said, you know, use a certain gesture. And I don't have the gesture. But I'm aware that that is a secret area. Now, apparently there may be more than that. I don't know. But I definitely want to do it. I want to try to do all of the areas of the game, just like I've done with previous Dark Souls games. Now, in Dark Souls 2, unfortunately, I screwed up. And I killed an NPC that would have led me to go to this whole new area with a boss called the Dark Lurker. And when I tried to revive the NPC, it never worked for me. So I was never able to go to that area and complete it, even though I would have liked to. And really, the only other thing that I didn't do in Dark Souls 2 was the giant ancient wyvern boss thingy. I got really close to killing it, but I never did. I got super close to killing it at the end, and I never did. So that was one of my kind of, I'd say, one of my shortcomings, is that I never was able to complete it in that regard. It sucks. It does, because I would have liked to say I was a completionist, but that's life, right? Bloodborne, I did everything. The only thing I didn't do in Bloodborne was go through the insanely grinding chalice dungeons to get to the ultra secret, super duper hidden boss that is just more of a pain of the ass to get to than anything else. So, in that regard, I definitely, you know, am I disappointed about Bloodborne? No, I'm not. I did everything. I even killed, you know, the Ebrietis boss. That was a huge pain in the ass. I killed pretty much everything but the super duper final boss. Okay? And that was just because it was such a grind to get to it. In Dark Souls 3, I would like to make an honest effort to at least see everything and try to at least fight every boss. Now, I don't know if there's like some super ultimate insane difficulty boss that you can't really touch like there have been in these other From Software games. Alright. But we'll see. Alright, we will see. We'll see what happens. I'm very interested in trying to see everything. So in that regard, even though I may be 60 to 75% through the game, I get the feeling if I am going to do all the optional stuff, it could extend the playthrough. Alright. Now, here's the deal. I'm changing the schedule this weekend, because originally it was going to be Dark Souls 3 alternating between other stuff. But here's what's happened this week. I've found that, unfortunately, the other stuff that I've been doing hasn't really caught on. I've been, you know, first I was alternating between, I did the Battleborn beta over the weekend, and even though I enjoyed it, I had some strong criticisms of it, and I even made a video about it on KO Gaming earlier this week if you didn't see it. But it didn't catch on. People weren't really enjoying watching me play that. Excuse me. So I said, alright, well, Ratchet and Clank, the remake came out this week. I'll go ahead and do that. Nope. That has not caught on. Unfortunately, Ratchet & Clank, I streamed it yesterday, and we couldn't barely get 300 people to attend the stream. I'd say primarily because it's really almost exactly the same game as the original game. They've just retooled some certain areas, and the plot is completely different. But outside of that, it's pretty much almost the identical game to the original Ratchet & Clank with better mechanics, better graphics, and, you know, if you're a hardcore fan of Ratchet & Clank, maybe you want to see me play it, but I've already played Ratchet & Clank years ago. It was actually 4 years ago that I did that. So I can understand that, in that regard, there's really not tons of mainstream interest in seeing me play a game I've already played. But the Dark Souls 3 streams, in comparison, alright? In comparison, the Dark Souls 3 streams have done great. Every single Dark Souls 3 stream that I've played has been great. It's had good attendance, engagement, people really enjoying it. I've noticed the playthrough videos on YouTube. Are they doing great, the new ones? No, not necessarily. But here's what I'm actually noticing, is that the earlier videos in my Dark Souls 3 playthrough are getting views. So what that tells me is that there was a large group of people who were holding off from watching my Dark Souls 3 playthrough until the game came out, and now they're starting to watch the playthrough, and those views are naturally going to be added to the playthrough over time. Is it going to be a, oh my god, insanely highly attended playthrough? No. But you know what? And people don't seem to realize this. None of my Dark Souls playthroughs ever were. If you look back at Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, you know, they weren't sky-high views back then either. So I'm not surprised that it's not going to be, like, blown out of the water. Am I known as one of the best Dark Souls streamers? Fuck no. In fact, I'm probably one of the worst Dark Souls streamers when it comes to watching, oh, he's really learning the strategies and he's doing it. No, I flub my way through it 90% of the time. Okay. But that's okay, because I play it a different way. I play the game differently than a lot of other people. And yet, I still managed to beat it, right? This is the first Dark Souls game I'm not grinding, yet if you've noticed, every stream there's good progress. So, I'd love to hear what the excuse is now from all the people who love to criticize me and say that I suck at games. How am I still progressing if I didn't grind? That was your excuse for the other games. So I'm not grinding now, and I'm still progressing. What's the next excuse? I'm sure, oh, this is the easiest of all the games. Watch, that'll be the next excuse. Even though everyone said this is the hardest Dark Souls of all of them, the next excuse will be, well, this is the easiest of all of them. I can't wait. So anyway, yeah, because in light of what's going on this week, in light of the fact that really people weren't turning out for anything else that I was streaming, I've decided to do a 3-day streaming marathon of Dark Souls 3. That's right. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to stream for 24 hours a day for the next 3 days. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'd be dead. I'd be fucking dead. I would literally pass away here on stream if I played Dark Souls 3 for 3 days straight. Oh my god. That would be insanity, man. Insanity. No. For the next 3 days, the one gameplay stream that I'm going to play is going to be Dark Souls 3. Originally, like I said, I was going to alternate. Now it's just going to be all Dark Souls. So that means 3.5 hours of Dark Souls today, 3.5 hours tomorrow, and 3.5 hours on Sunday. Alright, now, Monday, we're going to mix it up. Since I haven't done it in weeks, on Monday I'm going to do a session of Street Fighter V. That'll be good for variety's sake. I haven't played Street Fighter V at all in the month of April. So, finally, I'll get to play a little bit of Street Fighter and get my fighting game, craving in there. Alright? And then Tuesday, the next Black Ops Zombies map comes out. It's the next expansion officially for Black Ops 3. So I'm going to be doing co-op in the zombie map, and I'll probably be trying out the multiplayer as well. So there's going to be a few days away from Dark Souls, which is good, because after playing it for 3 days straight, I'll probably need the break, being quite frank with you. I'm probably going to be so beaten down and destroyed after 3 straight days of this that I'm going to need the break away from it. And then I'll return on Wednesday to Dark Souls, and I may even do 2 days back-to-back, because this coming Friday, if you're not aware, a week from today, is the release of Star Fox Zero. Okay? The release of Star Fox Zero on Friday. I'm excited for that. I have not played a Star Fox since the 1990s, Star Fox 64, which actually is one of my favorite games of the Nintendo 64, and probably one of, if not my favorite, flight game of all time. That game was outstanding for the time. The graphics, the gameplay, the story, everything about Star Fox back then was amazing. And it's been so long since we've had an official Star Fox entry that I'm very happy we're getting one on the Wii U. It's a shame it's on the Wii U, the console that no one bought, and that probably fewer people than ever before will be playing Star Fox. But it is what it is. I'm excited for it, and I hope that you're excited for it too. Okay? So that's going to be then, and that's going to take up some time. And keep in mind, at the end of this month, just so you guys know, the God of War 4 beta, the final episode of The Walking Dead be shown, the next episode of Hitman, all coming out the last week of this month. So we've got a ton of stuff going on in April, starting next week. So it's going to be an interesting balance between me trying to finish up Dark Souls 3 and doing all that other stuff, okay? So I figured a 3-day marathon here of Dark Souls 3 wouldn't be too bad. Especially because people are saying, oh, you're 60 to 75% through, but being that I want to do the optional stuff, it could definitely take a little bit longer, all right? So, I'm excited. I hope you're excited too. I'm going to get started here in just a couple minutes. I'm not going to do a long pre-stream or anything. In fact, gratuitous plugs I'm going to do insanely quickly right now, all right? If you like my gameplay, you like my daily live streams, and you want to see this business continue to thrive, you enjoy my vlogging, you enjoy my edited videos on KO Gaming, there's several ways that you can support the business. The first is obviously to watch the videos and spread the word about them. Let people know I live stream daily, it's good stuff, and that the on-demand videos are available daily as well as everything else, all right? You can also follow me on social media, at They Call Me DSP on Twitter, and I also have an Instagram account, They Call Me DSP, and if you do follow me, you're going to get daily updates on what I'm doing with the schedule, and my commentary on all kinds of stuff going on with pop culture and everything. I take cool pictures for Instagram every once in a while, but I don't inundate you with pictures every day. Pretty good, all right? So please follow me on social media, and if you do, please retweet and favorite things that you enjoy on there, because the more reach that I have on social media, the better it is for my business. In addition to that, there's an Amazon associate link in the description of every single stream and video that I do on YouTube. And if you live in the United States and you click on that link while you're shopping on Amazon.com, it actually gives me referral credit, and that helps the business. You could also pledge to my Patreon at patreon.com/DarksidePhil. We're about halfway through the month, and the goal for this month is the return of the Indie Marathon, where patrons who pledge $5 or more this month will be nominating and voting on games, indie games, that I'll be playing in this marathon come the end of May if we hit the goal. I'm excited for that. Okay? What else? Also, you can check out my girlfriend's business, The Black Current, at etsy.com/shop/The Black Current. And, she sells handmade... I'm getting confused here because I'm started reading the stream chat. She sells handmade glycerin soaps and wax tart melts. She's been very successful. People love her stuff. Nothing but positive feedback. And in particular, people who watch our videos on YouTube have tried out the product and love it. So you should try it out too. All right? And that's it. That is the gratuitous plugs. I got them done within 3 minutes. A lot of people complain I take too long with the plugs. 3 minutes! 3 minutes! Suck on that! Let's see you do all those plugs in 3 minutes. Alright, so we're going to get started in a moment here. Some interesting things being said on Twitter. Someone has both the PS4 and PC versions of Dark Souls 3. And he's running some tests, and he says that if the PC version of Dark Souls 3 actually natively runs at 60 frames per second, but you can actually do a frame lock at 30, and if you frame lock the game at 30 frames per second, the game has input delay. But if you run it at full 60, it doesn't, and he's wondering if that's what's going on with Dark Souls 3 on the Xbox One. Remember, I've said many times during my playthrough, there's input delay, especially during these big boss fights where, you know, in particular the Pontiff, where it was the clone fighting, it would just slow the game down to a crawl and everything was just super fucking slow. And he says that, yeah, maybe it's an issue of frame rate, which is funny, though, because he says that he has the PS4 version that's locked at 30, and that one never lags. Good God. Good God. I don't know. All I know is I'm playing this version of the game. That's all I know. Ah. All right. So we're going to get started. Sorry, I chugged the rest of I was drinking a Kickstart here. Kickstart energy drink, and I just chugged the rest of it to finish it before we started. All right, let's get started, everyone. I hope you're ready. So I got a few things I want to do to start off, by the way. Last stream, if you were around for the last session, you got caught up on the videos or whatever. First of all, like, there was a mimic that killed itself like an idiot, and I want to get the item, and I want them to understand. If I go back now to where the mimic was originally, the item should be there that it had. That if you reboot the game, the item will show up where the mimic originally spawned. So I'm going to check that out. In addition to that, someone reminded me on pre-stream today that there was one of the Titanite bugs that I had missed out on, and that it should respawn today, so I'm going to do that. In addition to that, also, I got a key from an NPC to fight the Dark Wraith, which is supposed to be, I guess, an NPC. And apparently if you kill the Dark Wraith, you get a gem that allows you to infinitely invade. And I may try invasions today. I might actually try some invasions today, even though I'll probably lose miserably. I'll probably try them, since I've not done them yet, and now that the online was enabled this week, I can actually try them out. I guess we'll find out. But anyway, alright, that is it. Let's end the pre-stream. Let's get started. Dark Souls 3 on stream. I know you're excited. I'm excited. Your mama's belching in the background, but she's excited too. I think it's time. Let us begin, everyone. Alright, thanks for being here. Let's get started.